Keto Chow. Check us out at ketochow.xyz.
And I think we need a theme song. Anyway, I'm Chris, also a co-founder, president, and a technical guy behind Keto Chow. If you're brand new to Keto Chow, we have a few products that we created to help make doing keto easier. Our main product is a meal replacement shake mix that you can customize to fit the macros that work best for you. We also have some electrolyte supplements that are absolutely super awesome.
Awesome. We do this live stream to keep you updated with all our Keto Chow happenings, to help us be accountable and stay on track and have you with us on our journey. So thank you for joining us.
Especially Kate. She just joined us for the very first time.
Yay, Kate! Welcome!
So welcome everybody to Tuesday night. Yeah. We've been doing this for going on 2 years now.
2 years.
Every Tuesday night. So yeehaw.
Shauna's here. Hi, Shauna. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Angie.
Yep. So we got a bunch of stuff that we're going to be going over. So first things first, what is the flavor of the week, Miriam?
Well, I can tell you I've had 3 already this week, and it is Tuesday.
Tuesday's the flavor of the week?
No. I mean, I've had 3 strawberry Keto Chows.
Nice.
Strawberry is the flavor of the week. We have not had that on sale since 2018.
It's been a long time. May of
Isn't
2018.
that funny? Yeah.
Was the last time, not natural strawberry, but the regular strawberry.
But I didn't love it, so I don't always drink it, except now I'm having it with butter, and butter makes it better.
So that's an important distinction. So when you mix it up with heavy cream, which heavy cream is a lot easier to use.
Easier. It's yummy.
But the cream kind of
It mutes the flavor.
It mutes the flavor a lot, yeah. It makes it creamier, but not as strong of flavor. So if you mix it up with the butter instead, it's more work, but it's a stronger flavor. So you're liking the strawberry with that,
I'm liking with the butter because it really brings the flavor out and it's yummy.
All right, so we got a couple more people. Carol says, hi, Chris. Hi, Miriam. Kate's smiling. Becky's on. Right Family says, hi, guys.
Hi, and Rhonda. Hi, Rhonda.
Para Hebernet says, hey, sweating it out.
Oh, man.
86 degrees in the house and finishing on your
I
treadmill.
think she's saying her AC went out or something.
Oh,
That
I guess
sad.
so.
I'm sorry, Renee.
If it's not one thing, it's another. Catherine says, hello. Joe says he forgot it was Tuesday.
Hey, welcome to Tuesday, Joe.
Welcome to Tuesday, Joe. Kimberly says, hello, my first live chat. Delisa says, good evening, Miriam and Chris.
Good evening.
Deb says, happy Tuesday.
Hi.
Angie says, look, Chris and Miriam, butter does make it better. I have a mug that says that one of my friends gave me. Shauna says, strawberry keto chow for dinner tonight as we speak. Nice. Maitreya says she's definitely a butter convert.
Yep.
And it's funny with butter, you get fewer carbs. And it's stronger flavor.
Brings out the flavor. It is not as thick.
It is not as thick.
Heavy cream will make it thicker. So if ever we usually make it into ice cream, we'll use heavy cream because it makes better ice cream.
That's true.
That's just what we prefer.
Keto on the Budget says, hey there.
Hi.
Well, Sandra is on. She's from Michigan. Has some shakes coming. Can't wait to try. Becky says, fireworks are going off in the neighborhood in the Everglades. Is setting off its own fireworks.
Oh, cool. How fun.
Nice. Betsy says, so I ordered 2 chocolate toffee, 1 strawberry, and 1 salted caramel. No strawberry on sale. You make it so hard not to order for. Nan says,
hi.
Para Renee says, what? Nobody checks their day of the week underwear anymore?
Yeah, gosh. I actually used to have barrettes.
Oh, really?
In fact, I remember, this is so dumb, doing flips off the monkey bars. Okay. Because it was actually really easy for me to do a flip because I was as tall as the monkey bar, so I'd just stand, just turn over, boop.
Yeah.
But, and I fell off and hit my Tuesday barrette.
And did it break?
It broke in half, and I was so sad. I
well,
never
then it
wanted
can't
to
be
do
Tuesday
a
anymore.
Off a thing again. It was so sad.
Dang. Keto on Budget says, I need a coffee mug that says butter makes it better.
Yeah.
Oh, Patty tried the three ingredient Keto Chow crepe recipe.
Oh, good.
I did it like German pancake Dutch baby. Made it with pumpkin spice. Yum.
Ooh,
definitely going to make it again.
That does sound good.
Amanda is
Amanda.
on. Kimberly says butter makes everything better.
It does.
Julia is on.
Hi.
We got Facebook user, someone in our Facebook group It actually doesn't tell us what your name is because of the permissions, but it just says hello, beautiful
Yeah, but
people.
we thought we'd try it and see if we could get it figured out so that we could do it again. So we're going to try it today.
Shauna says I made strawberry with butter and gelatin. And that's one way to make it. So if you make it with butter, like we said, it's not as thick. Add some gelatin in there and it thicks.
Yeah, you could also use konjac flour. Make it a little bit thicker.
What was I watching? Rachel and Joe, I was watching a video they had done, and she said, cognac.
I always want to say that, too.
I'm like, what are you drinking, Rachel?
Some cognac flour.
Keto on Budget says, got my lemon meringue in yesterday.
Yay!
Thanks, Brittany, for packing it.
Oh, Brittany's so awesome. She had a cute shirt on today. Do you remember what it said?
Oh, it was the You're Killing Me Smalls.
You're Killing Me Smalls.
Linda says, good evening from Calgary.
Oh.
That's the same Facebook user says, got to order some more lemon meringue.
Yeah.
Shauna says, wow, tall. I'm still not tall. You're pocket-sized.
I've always been tall.
Oh, it's Steffi. Okay.
Oh, hi, Steffi.
So it's weird. So I tried just for kicks. We're live streaming to YouTube and to Periscope and to Twitch and to the Keto Chow Facebook page. I also enabled it so that it's streaming to the Keto Chow Facebook support group. The problem is with groups is the permissions are different. So it doesn't, unless you are friends with the Restream app, which is what we're using, then we can't see your name. It's kind of weird.
But we're going to try it a couple different ways and see if we can figure it out. And guess what I did to figure this out?
What'd you do?
I sat here.
Oh, good job.
I'm so good at that.
Mike says, hello, Miriam and Chris. Rhonda
Hi,
says, I make my mix with both butter and heavy whipping cream. I think flavor comes through that way also.
Yeah, and I used to do that forever. I did heavy whipping cream and avocado oil because it gave me a little bit fewer carbs and a little higher ketones. So I see it's fun to mix it up that way. So it's different.
Okay. So Kate has a question. I have plain gelatin. Is that what you use?
Yes.
So you can use beef gelatin, so just unflavored. And it'll just thicken it up. But you put too much in there,
and you'll make yourself a big fat Jello lump,
It's
which you
true.
can still eat, and it would be delicious. That's like my favorite post from the Facebook support group. I don't know who did it, but it made me so happy.
Yeah, it was green, right?
Yeah, it was so awesome.
What flavor did they use? I think they
don't
used
remember.
some different flavorings in there. Like it was vanilla with some flavors.
It was awesome.
Becky says I'm totally geeking out. Okay. Mike says, can I also stream it to the International Space Station?
Do it.
Well, if they want to pull it up on YouTube, I guess. Okay, so Shauna said she bloomed a tablespoon of gelatin and 1 ounce of water and then mixed it in.
Oh, perfect. That sounds great because then you got your gelatin all ready to go. Oh, it was Stephanie.
Oh, okay. So, Stephanie had a question. Would unsweetened macadamia milk be enough fat by itself?
That is a good question. It depends on how much fat is in the macadamia milk.
And how much fat you need.
One thing that we've been trying to, that is so cool about Keto Chow is you can change it to whatever macros you want it to be. And if you're trying to go really low fat or have your fat in a different form, you can do like a almond milk or macadamia milk or, any of those milks as long as they have low sugar. And then have your fat elsewhere, or do like a protein sparing modified fast. It's a fun way to kind of manipulate your macros and do things a little differently. I know I'm about to cut my fat a little bit more of the Keto Chow because I find that when I'm doing 3 a day,
you're full all the time.
I'm not hungry for dinner, and then I feel like I need to drink it. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to cut my fat a little bit more, use some more of the fat that I'm trying to get rid of, all the places, and see if I'm still full. If I'm full, then I'm okay. So you kind of need to play with things, and it'll be good.
And so the short version is you can absolutely use a nut milk in place of the water component when you're mixing up Keto Chow. But unless you have a specific reason, you probably don't want to use it for the fat component because it's not very high in fat. And if you don't have enough fat, you're not going to get full. So if you're doing that on purpose and you know what you're doing, you've put it into Chronometer or something else like that, more power to you. if you're just wanting to use macadamia nut milk or unsweetened almond milk for the fat component of Keto Chow, you're going to have a really uphill climb because there is not very much fat in those. So, like, you're going to have to do like a gallon. It's going to be nuts. So
yeah, who would want a gallon of macadamia milk?
I don't know.
We still haven't even been able to find it.
Oh, macadamia nut milk?
Yeah.
I have looked and looked and looked. I even looked at like Sprouts and
really? Yeah, we haven't been able to find it.
Could not find it. So, all right. So let's see. We have on the Keto Village, Christy Davis on the Keto Village has a good video about using gelatin.
Oh yeah, she does.
And she uses Shauna said to use a teaspoon.
And James, a bunch of people, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Over at the Keto Village are doing a 5-day carnivore challenge.
Ooh, there you go.
Which they're including Keto Chow.
In the carnivore?
So, you know, kind of a 5-day reset. So that's kind of a fun thing to do sometime if you want to do reset. 3-day, 5-day, something like that.
All right. So James says, hey, all.
Hey, James.
Kate says, thank you to Shauna. Sorry, she doesn't know how to reply to the message. Joe says.
Oops.
Camera just flickered and now audio is off by about 4 frames. Interesting. I wonder if hold on a second. If I go like this, back like that, did that fix it?
We'll see.
If not, I can switch to a different camera and then back again. Yeah. It could also be you, Joe. Try reloading your page.
Refresh.
And I should know better than to be looking at text messages in the middle of a live stream.
What the heck?
Although sometimes it's really helpful, especially like Joe has problems with audio and I'm like calling him, dude, fix your thing and your other thing.
Hey, Stephanie said, I got enough fat on my body, LOL.
Yeah.
Stephanie, I don't think so. I've seen pictures of you and you're looking amazing.
No,
I want your legs. Can I have those?
We get this question sometimes. Okay, so I'm trying to separate out the questions a lot. So we get this question sometimes. Why do you have to use fat in Keto Chow if you've already got fat on your body?
So for one, you need to change your body into using fat instead of glucose. Right?
Yeah, so when you first start off keto, your insulin may be too high. And when you have high insulin, your body cannot, no matter what you do, it cannot access stored fat. You could fast for a couple days, your insulin will come down and then it'll start working. But for a while, your body, it's been so used to doing glucose, you can't access stored fat, so you have to eat fat in order to give your body something to burn.
Which really helps you get into that fat burning mode,
which
is what you have to do.
And we don't ever recommend going more than about a 15% deficit. So if you need, say, 2,000 calories a day, don't go much lower than 15% below that in the amount of food that you're eating, or else your body is going to go into, it's going to start saying, whoa, there's not enough fuel here. Let's start turning stuff off.
Like hair.
Yeah, like hair growth. And it's going to suppress your metabolism. Whereas it's kind of funny, your body knows exactly what to do with no calories coming in. Well, that just means the hunting isn't very good, so we need to keep on going. But if you're just not getting enough, then it starts to shut things down. It's really interesting how smart our bodies are. So let's see. Let's go back to some comments. Kiyoma just says, me too, Stephanie. So Marlene has a really good question. So how do you know how much fat you need with Keto Chow or in a ketogenic diet just in general? It's a good question, right?
Yeah, so we actually have some cool resources on our website. Do you want to pull those up? I can show this really quick.
Sure.
So in your package, hopefully you'll have received one of these cards, and it's like a little cheat sheet. So it tells you there's butter, avocado oil, and heavy cream, and it tells you how many calories per meal you can use. Can they still see me?
Yeah, they see.
Instead of having it be calories per day, you do calories per meal. Then you don't have to do 3 Keto Chows a day. You say, okay, well, I want my Keto Chow to be 500 calories, but I want it to be butter. Oh, look, it's 7.5 tablespoons of butter.
Or milliliters.
Or milliliters
ounces.
or ounces. So whatever, you want to use. So this is like a little cheat sheet. You can circle it. I know some people will put a piece of tape or marker on their package that says how much they use, or on a container if you put your Keto Chow in a container. And that's nice because then you don't even have to remember. I actually have
a piece of masking tape
on our bucket that has tape in it that says how much I need for 3 Keto Chows, because then I don't have to remember it.
Yep. Now, as far as calculating how much you should use, if you go, I'll switch over to this. This won't work for the recording, but if you go over to the Keto Chow website, there's under Getting Started, How to Prepare Keto Chow, Calculating Macros on Keto. This walks you through all the information, and there's a really handy keto calculator that's on Maria Emmerich's, I was going to say Remrick's, Maria Emmerich's website that will walk you through figuring out how much protein, fat, and carbohydrates you need. We really like Maria's calculator because it's very simple, and she doesn't use percentages. She uses grams, which is the correct way to do it. If you ever see a keto calculator that is using percentages, probably not doing it right. So we really like that one. That's how you can figure out how much fat you should use.
Yep, and one thing that's on Maria's that a lot of people are kind of shocked by is when you put in all of your information, a lot of times it comes up with more protein than you think you need.
That is true.
Protein is not the enemy. Your body needs protein, and it's very important. And if you don't get enough protein, that's another thing that will shut down in your body, because you still need that for your hair, for your skin. You can tell when you're not getting enough protein if your skin is dry and cracking, if your nails are brittle and your hair is thinner. Yeah. So that's like the huge one. So don't be afraid of protein. And we say this a lot. Protein is a goal. Fat
you want to get that.
Is a lever, and carbs is a limit. You want to stay under 20 grams of carbs. You want to get as low in carbs as you can.
As low as you can, approaching 0. All right, let's get to some of these questions. Mike says there's 4.5 grams of fat in 8 ounces of macadamia nut milk. So that's not very much.
Yeah, that's not very much fat.
Mike says, and Whole Foods has it.
Oh, yeah. Whole Foods is a little bit far for us.
So Parahead Renee says, I like making a keto chow with just coffee and water after my long runs or bikes on the weekend to get my protein refuel. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Stephanie says she can only find it at HEB. Linda Mounts on. Hi.
Hi.
Jennifer Novik says, please make your lemon meringue in a big bag. We've taken that under advisement. We're looking into it.
Yep.
The problem is, so a lot of people have asked for the lemon meringue in a big bag. One of the problems with that is, and a lot of people have said it, we originally envisioned doing the lemon meringue as a test to see how much people liked it. And if a lot of people liked it, then we would bring it into a big bag or not. The original plan was we weren't going to do it in a big bag. It was just going to be as a limited edition in the samples. It takes a long time from when we decide to do a flavor to when it actually is here. So if we were to, just for argument's sake, decide today that we wanted the big bags of lemon meringue, we might get it sometime around January.
It just takes a long time.
In which case, well, no one's going to want to buy it in January except you know who you are. And in which case, we probably wouldn't. It would be best not to release it until the summer. So if it is going to be in big bags, it's not going to be for a while. We do still have a very good supply of the lemon meringues in the samples.
The samples.
So
keep letting us know you like it, because it gives us good feedback.
All right. So Amanda says some Walmarts have it too. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Just not ours.
There you go. Let's see. Keto on Budget says they finally started carrying it at Kroger in Tennessee. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's at Smith's. We could look there.
Stephanie says she had holy guac, so guessing that made up for the missing fat in Keto Chow. There you go.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
Let's see. Mike says audio and video is pretty good to him. There you go.
Oh, thanks.
So it's just you, Joe. Stephanie says, sorry, didn't have it with my Keto Chow. I had it with the eggs for breakfast. Kimberly says it's fine on YouTube. Okay.
Thank you.
Stephanie says, thank you, but I still see the 383-pound woman.
Yeah, well, don't look at that woman, because you're not that woman anymore. You're a new woman.
Mike says, Joe probably has chicken feathers in his computer case. It might not be. I don't know. And Perry Hernay is talking about satiety or satiation and nutrients. Mm-hmm. Our Facebook user loves the butter as a fat. Perry Hernay said, it took me so many years to be comfortable with the concept of eating fat to lose fat.
Yeah, it is such a mind change. You have to, all this that you've been learning your whole life, you have to like switch it around. Okay, change the low fat mindset. So I hear ya.
Parrot Renee says, Steph, every time I see a pic of you, I automatically hear ZZ Top's legs. Okay, let's see. Marlene says, thank you so much. Rhonda says, I can imagine adding avocado oil. Doesn't sound like it would be very tasty. It's probably overpowering. Is it not?
I can taste it. The thing is, it is oily, and it's thin. The color also comes through stronger, too.
Yeah, so, the thickness, if you mix up Keto Chow with avocado oil, is about the same as if you use butter. Mm-hmm. One interesting thing that I personally have noticed, I don't like the consistency if I use avocado oil and I just shake it up with a blender bottle. If I use a blender or I use an immersion blender, I actually like it quite a bit. Let's see.
But we do avocado oil sometimes when we're out of town. Mm-hmm. Depending on if you can find heavy cream or not, or if you can bring something like in a suitcase or in your car. So it's kind of nice to have another option if you don't have a microwave and an immersion blender or whatever.
Yep. Kate wanted to know, and Shauna actually took care of it for me. Kate wanted to know if we could put a link to that page.
Oh, thanks.
And yes, we had someone else already take care of it because I'm a little behind. I'm like, Joe, oh my gosh.
It just means we have more friends, right?
Yep. So Parrot Head Renee had a good question. So Parrot Head Renee asked, I've always been told to pick sedentary on the calculators. Do you think I should with as much as you work out?
No.
Well, it depends if you're working out a lot.
You work out a lot.
So there's two schools of thought. You can either pick sedentary and then track your workouts in something like Chronometer, and it'll take into account all that stuff. Or if you're not tracking your workouts, then just pick one of the higher workout levels and then don't worry about it. So yeah, it all depends on if you're tracking your workouts in the thing that you're keeping track of eating. And if you're not keeping track of eating and you're not keeping track of your workouts and all that sort of stuff, then yeah, pick one of the higher ones.
Also, are you hungry? Because if you're hungry, you may need to eat more.
So Stephanie had a good question. Did we ever think Keto Chow would take off like it has?
Not I.
Nope. It was quite literally a pet project. I did it because I am just so lazy. I just wanted something I could eat that I didn't have to think about. When I got home from work and there was nothing made, or when I was leaving for work and I didn't want to worry about lunch, I could just have something easy.
Mm-hmm. And I helped because I wanted to see my husband again.
That's right. So Mom, Miriam was helping with all of it. But yeah, it has been really interesting. Brandon wanted to know, is Keto Chow sold in stores? So we do have it in a couple of doctor's offices, but it isn't available retail anywhere. We prefer to take it direct to consumer. The interesting thing about having it sold in stores is the price would be the same as it is now. You might be able to save a little bit on shipping, but we wouldn't be able to provide as good of customer service if it was sold in stores. Also, another issue is our packaging really isn't set up for retail. Our packaging is just kind of it holds the stuff inside. It tells you what it is, but it doesn't tell you why you would want to buy it. And
it doesn't explain very well how to mix it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things so like a bar or a keto cookie. Well, you know what it is. It's a cookie. Oh, and it's keto.
And you eat it.
That's really it. With Keto Chow, you need to know how to mix it up. You need to know how to fit it into your life, all that stuff. And it's actually a really difficult thing to communicate that we really struggle with trying to articulate that.
So one of our best features is also our greatest flaw.
It's true.
Because it's so cool to be able to make it the way you want to make it, with the fat you want and how much you want.
Yeah.
It's just hard to communicate that on a package.
It is very difficult to communicate that.
Especially with how many words Chris likes to use. He's a little wordy.
Yeah. It's also difficult to communicate the fact that Keto Chow is designed for, like, the stupid meals. I don't know what to do. I just want to make this, and I don't want to worry about my nutrition. It can be used for all of your meals for the day if you want to, but most people don't use it like that. And that's kind of difficult to communicate. We actually ran into this with our friends Rachel and Joe when the way that we were trying to put that forward a year ago just didn't really work. And the way that they understood Keto Chow then, it wasn't how we had it envisioned. And it's funny, this card right here, we used to have a version of this that we included that told you the calories per day, and it didn't have it broken out by meal. So a lot of people understood that as, well, you have to use Keto Chow 3 meals a day. Mm-hmm. And that's not it. So it's, putting it in stores, it might happen. But every time we watch Shark Tank and they start...
It dissuades us.
Yeah, they start, the guy pitching will say, and we want to get into retail. And the sharks will be like, why?
No,
don't do it.
Retail.
And we used to have this desire to get into retail. I don't see a need.
Well, and there's so much stuff online now. You don't have to get stuff. How often do I even go to the store? I just got to the point in my life where I say, well, I go to the store in 2 days? Okay, I'll buy it. And granted,
I'll just buy it online.
With the quarantine, you don't always get everything in 2 days. But now I've kind of learned to wait, and I'm okay. Also, I don't do as much impulse buying while I'm at the store because I'm not walking past it going, yes, I would like that.
All right. Daphne says loves lemon meringue. Just made some ice cream out of it today.
Yay, yummy.
Rhonda says, I'm focusing more on my protein now. I think I'm starting to drop weight too fast, and I'm eating my calories. Probably too much physical activity. Took it up a notch because I'm loving it so much.
Hey, there you go.
Nice.
So Parrot Head Renee can learn from that.
So Alicia has a question. Just curious, how many shaker bottles do you have in your home?
Well, probably 30.
Well, so we have we don't like these shakers because they're kind of weird.
But they last forever because we have had blender bottles from like 2015 or 14.
You bought some for me in January 2014 that are still perfectly fine.
They work so good. It's such a good company, Blender Bottle. And they last forever. I think we've had like one break. And we've lost a couple of lids.
And we've given away a lot.
Mm-hmm. So we have a lot.
Yeah, and you can use other things. So rather than using a blender bottle, you could use a mason jar.
Lots of people do that. And you can get different jars online. We had somebody who got jars that were like kind of squarish. Mm-hmm. And they put them in their freezer and froze them and then just pulled them out and then they didn't have to mix.
Yep.
So it just depends on what you want to do.
And we just use blender bottles because they're very easy to use and they clean well, and we just have a lot of them.
And we have a specific way we load them in the dishwasher.
It's true. There's one rack where the balls go. There's one rack, and you have to put them on the spike.
Yep.
Never let them touch each other.
Yes.
Because they're like
touchy.
Velcro, and they
anyway. And when we remodeled our house, I said I would like this to be the blender bottle cupboard, and made ourselves a cupboard for blender bottles.
And they're just stacked up.
Yep, and they're great.
Yeah, so we do have a lot, but there's a lot of... If you're not mixing it in that container, like you want to mix it up in a blender or an immersion blender with a big pitcher, you can put it in anything you want. So.
Yep, but I like the size. I like that if I grab it, I can shake it up with the ball in there. Mm-hmm. So it's just a habit now to do that. Although mason jars are so cute.
All right, so Tim has a question. When does the stomach rumble stop? Some people don't get them. Some people will have them for a long time. It has a lot to do with the type of fat and the amount of fat that you're using. You could be absolutely fine with butter and heavy cream would not work for you. Maybe you're fine with heavy cream, but you add some MCT oil in there and whoa, you get the rumbles.
Problems.
Some people, actually, they go on Keto Chow and they get constipated. Other people, the exact opposite. So it's really a variable thing that's different to each person. Sometimes time will make it stop. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes a probiotic helps. If you are having issues, like I said, the first thing I would try is maybe changing the fat that you're using or changing the amount of fat. I even had one person who they stopped mixing any fat into their Keto Chow and started using all that fat to make fat bombs. And all their problems went away. And then they had little fat bombs they could eat. So they would have a shake and then eat some fat bombs. So
yeah, everybody's different.
Yep. Lori says, I've been using nut butter in my chocolate toffee Keto Chow shakes. It's delicious.
Oh, that sounds
so you
delicious.
can, and especially if you're using it in a blender, you can throw in some peanut butter or some almond butter or all sorts of fun stuff.
Legendary Foods butter.
Yep. James says, I found that if I put enough butter in my Keto Chow, I'm not satisfied. If I don't put enough, I'm not satisfied all day.
And I'm kind of feeling the opposite right now, James. I'm drinking my 3 and I'm like, I don't want to have one more shake because I'm so full. So I think I'm going to cut my fat this next time I mix and see how that goes.
Shauna wants to know, what about using the Kai2 original flavor creamer they make?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I have not looked at the macros on that, but it would be a good idea to look at that and see.
It's true.
Because I hear it's delicious.
Barry Renee says, my treadmill looks like I ran in the rain. Gross.
Good for you. You're amazing.
And she says that her Garmin syncs with her chronometer. So she's,
Oh, perfect.
So if you are tracking it, you probably don't want to put in anything on there.
And she says, I'm always hungry. So yeah, go change your macros and tell yourself that you're fit and you're working out and see what the macros change to be. Because you probably need more food. And specifically, you might just need more protein.
So we have unnamed Facebook user wants to know, so are we going to expand our line to have cookies or bars?
No.
So there's a thing called core competency. It's what you do really well. We do really good with Keto Chow as a shake. I've tried messing around with bars and stuff like that with Keto Chow as an ingredient. We have a lot of recipes on our site to make cookies or bars. The problem is it doesn't really jive with the whole Keto Chow thing. And along with that, we have some really good friends that make cookies and bars.
That are really great.
They're fantastic.
And I don't think we could do better.
I don't think we could do better. Like, could we do better than the keto bricks? Probably not. Could we do better than keto bars? I don't know.
Probably not.
What about Nui cookies? Nope. What about perfect keto cookies? I'm not even going to try. We're set up for this. This is our thing. So for now, we're probably not going to get into that.
And we're not going to make Pop-Tarts.
No, we're not going to make Pop-Tarts. Kate McKenna. So earlier I said, Keto Chow is for the stupid meals. It's like I don't know what to eat. Kate says every meal is a stupid meal for me.
Also us too. Sometimes we do, like maybe once a week we do good meals.
Stephanie says, thank heavens you're lazy. Keto Chow is such a blessing. And just says retail would take away from the product and the customer service.
Oh, thank you.
Parrot Renee talking about Keto Chow says it's my no-brainer, touchless meal I can eat in my car and not feel icky in this Corona time while seeing patients.
Oh, yeah. That's
Incidentally, great. Miriam and I went to go visit Florida, and guess what we did not bring home?
COVID-19.
That's right. We actually got tested, and neither of us
we weren't around anyone that had it, except for everyone in the airport potentially could have had it, even though nobody's supposed to have it. But, we're just trying to play things safe and keep our family safe and keep our workers safe, so we tested anyway.
Yep. Kid on Budget says, no need, you guys ship out so fast. It's not necessary to put it in stores. Mike says, retail is on its way out anyway. Even huge retail customers are going bankrupt. Tanya says, does meal planning come with this, or is there one you suggest? So that is a good question. Do we have a meal plan that goes along with Keto Chow?
No.
So Keto Chow, if you have a meal plan, and we don't have a specific suggested one, any meal plan that you find on the internet, basically substitute Keto Chow for...
As one of the meals.
As well, one or two or three if you really want to. As many of the meals as you want to do. So if you have a meal plan that has a whole bunch of really awesome dinners and you're like, I got this. I can make dinners. I can cook these with my family or by myself or whatever. But breakfast and lunch?
Or if you're just doing 2 meals a day.
Yeah.
Lunch.
Well, use Keto Chow for those. So we don't have a specific meal plan.
But it's easy to plug it in somewhere. And having a plan really helps.
Yes.
So what I just take is I print out a calendar, and our kids actually help with this. We just give them a day of the week that they are in charge of making dinner.
We need to do that again.
I know, we need to. We haven't been. We've been shirking. But then they write down what they're making, and then I'll go buy the groceries for it so that they can be successful, and I'll help them if they want help. And a lot of times they pick stupid things, but they're all keto, and we don't care what they pick because we're just going to have it. So it works out good because it teaches them responsibility, but also helps us to be successful. And then when they say, what's for dinner, I can be like, go look on the calendar. And so they can see, what's for dinner. But I'm
sometimes it's chaffles.
Yeah,
sometimes it's pizza cake, which is another name for keto lasagna.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, write up a plan. And if it changes, that's okay. But if you write up a plan, you'll feel so successful and prepared. And that just helps a lot. Even if you just do it weekly, on Sunday night, just kind of write down what your things are, plan your grocery trips, whatever. Also look in your freezer and don't forget that there's stuff in there so that you can not have to let it
go shopping burn. In your freezer, right?
Just, set yourself up for success.
All right, so Shauna says, since June 1st, I've been having 2 Keto Chows in one meal. Only shop once every 2 weeks. So nice. I'm bad at following the new arrows on the floor store. I am so bad at that. Around here, nobody even pays attention to them.
I don't even know
in Florida,
if there's arrows.
People were like, you can't come that way. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was really
Keto on a Budget says, I only have 8 blender bottles. And the cool thing about having a bunch of blender bottles is you can prep a whole bunch. She says, and 52 coffee mugs.
Oh, hey, you got this.
Oh, so Patty uses more fat in the morning for energy throughout the day.
Oh, that's a good idea. And you know what I've been doing for Kate, for her depression, we've been adding MCT oil and a lot of butter. So I'm doing almost a whole stick of butter for her shakes.
Oh, wow.
Probably 3/4 of one. But she also tends to fast a lot without thinking.
Yeah.
So she'll just not eat all day long. And
happens
then
on keto all the time.
Oh, I'm hungry all of a sudden. So then she'll down a Keto Chow and then still eat dinner, an hour later. But then she hasn't eaten, for a long, long time. So, and she's super skinny and a little tiny teenager.
Rhonda says, do we have a refrigerator designated just for Keto Chow? The door of the refrigerator in the garage. And there's one shelf right now that has 6 4-pound packages of butter on one shelf. So that's 24
pounds.
And
sometimes we'll have heavy cream on the butter shelf too.
It's true. Oh, and Stephanie says she has a bottom shelf dedicated just to eggs.
Oh, we have an entire shelf in our inside fridge dedicated just to eggs. And they're all different colors because they come from our backyard chicken.
Keto on a Budget suggests the Legendary Foods banana flavored butter with banana shake.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Delisa says, I use Kaitu sweet creamer. I love it. Use 2 servings.
Oh, good.
Parrothead Renee says, what? No $20 Pop-Tarts?
$24 Pop-Tarts.
There you go.
They're so bad. It's so bad for me.
Rhonda says, I bet your cookies and bars would be better than Perfect Keto. Too much hype. I'm not a fan. Okay.
Oh, I think we like them. I actually tried to stay away from bars and cookies for the most part because I feel like it can be a slippery slope.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm kind of thinking about doing, I haven't really told you about this, but is if we want to try something, we'll get a bunch of it and have that. And then when it's gone, we'll think about if we want to order more.
Okay.
Or, to kind of do one treat at a time.
Well, and we've been doing actually a really good job at not snacking lately.
Yeah, we've been awesome.
So if I want to have like something, I'll have that as part of a meal.
Yep.
And actually, it's been since like the beginning of June. I haven't really snacked at all.
Yeah, it's been.
Devin says,
good.
"Hey y'all."
Hey Devin.
Sean says, "When I don't want to cook, keto chow. When I'm on the run, keto chow." It's like
Woo-hoo.
a song. Joseph says, "Did you see the Oura Ringa can predict COVID? The NVA is using them." So what? There's the Oura Ring. This guy right here. Miriam's got one too.
I have a man one.
It does keep track of your temperature.
Yes.
And there was a guy who got notified that his ring had noticed that his temperature was running high, and then he got diagnosed with COVID. It made big news. Oura, the people who make this, set up a study with the University of California, San Francisco, where they're doing it's called the Temp Predict study, where they're actually checking if you answer a questionnaire every day, and if it notices that your temperature is running high, it should alert you, hey, I think you might have a fever.
You're supposed to do that every day?
Yeah, I only do it like once a week.
I did it once.
I'm only doing it every... yeah. Anyway, so in theory, it can predict that you have COVID. Now, I've been checking mine since we got back from Florida, and I'm actually... my temperature is normal. It just tells me I'm plus or minus like a half of a degree. And I have been using an oral thermometer under my tongue for the last 2 days. I'm actually running like 97.8.
You're a cold man, huh?
I guess I'm a little cold.
But the Oura Ring is so cool.
It is cool.
I actually like to look at my heart rate a lot when I'm sleeping. I look at my sleep data.
Yeah, it is interesting.
And then it tells me how tired I am.
down.
I'm like, oh, that's why I'm tired. Or not. Well, the what it's supposed to do, your heart rate is supposed to go like this.
It's supposed to go down
and then up. So if it's going down, you're broken. Did you know?
Okay.
That you're broken? But it's supposed to go down and then up. And I've tried to figure out how to get my body to do that properly. But it's nice to see like when my body hits the lowest heart rate, because that's usually when you're in like your deepest of sleep.
Okay.
Which is like 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever. So it's interesting to watch.
So Keto on Bed just says, I'm not looking at the floor when I'm shopping. And Lori says she got yelled at a grocery store when she went the wrong way. Shauna says, I have 6 blender bottles, but I think I want more. And I can't count the amount of coffee mugs I have. Devin says, I officially have 10 blender bottles and 12 mason jars.
Oh, I don't even want to know how many mason jars I have. I don't have any cute lids for the mason jars.
Yes, you do. You bought a bunch of blender bottles.
I have like 3 of them.
I thought you bought like 12.
I bought some.
Kimberly says, LOL, butter shelf. Yeah. Stephanie says, we have about 15 dozen, and my egg girl says she has 5 dozen, so going after them tomorrow.
Oh.
We actually used up quite a bunch of eggs before we went to Florida. We did a ton of chaffles.
Yeah, when we decided to make chaffles, they're gone.
And our kids have been doing a pretty good job at making chaffles, and our chickens have been making a lot of eggs. So.
Yep. Well, and we're doing a good job of rotating the eggs. So the oldest ones are on this side, so you got to pull from there. Also, we're rotating our Joe's yogurt. So. Oh yeah. It's over here, and then we're pulling from this side so that. Whoop, whoop.
So
feel successful.
Parrot Renee says she takes Adderall for ADHD. So having a keto chow to start her day, when then the med makes me not hungry for so long.
Oh, nice.
Parrot Renee says, squirrel! Mike says, I bought 1 box of $24 Pop-Tarts. I'm saving it for a special occasion, like the next phase of the zombie apocalypse. Miriam's problem is she'll buy a thing of those Pop-Tarts.
I just want it.
And then the kids will just work at them until they're gone. I usually get half of one. So.
Well, it does help, though. So I got these little boxes for the kids that I've been putting like keto snacks and treats into. And that has helped considerably because that means there's 6 of them gone. And then the kids who don't keto as well can use that as currency and trade with the keto kids. You know, more like, do you want my Pop-Tart? I'll trade you for a perfect keto bar. You know, so that's kind of fun. But it's there. I say you can have this for your snacks, or you can have it for your meals, or you can have whatever. Max and Sam tend to really like the cereal, so I've been getting the cereal school and the high key cereal for them.
And then we used to have almond milk.
Yeah.
Now the kids they're pouring the cereal in with Keto Chow.
Yeah, so Ruth came up today and she saw that I had strawberry. And we had the new fruity high key cereal, which is actually pretty good, I think. And she's like, Mom, do you have strawberry Keto Chow? Yeah. Can I pour some in my cereal? Yes, you can. Here you go. So that cut my fat a little because I gave it to my child.
And the high key stuff, it's mostly just protein, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I'm impressed with it too because the color is all, natural colorings.
Natural.
Well, and it's just being in the food space, they're going to try to...
Is it made from the extracted tears of virgins?
Blue 3 and red 5 and blah, blah, blah. What are those? What did that even mean? Those colors.
They're just dyes.
Yeah. But
okay.
But these are kind of cool.
I don't have a problem with artificial colors. Rhonda says, you guys have it good with both of you eating the same.
It helps considerably.
Devin says, you can also take the Aura survey multiple times a day.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. So Jana has a good question. If I make up a big batch of Keto Chow, how long will they last in the fridge? Okay, not that they're delicious. This really makes it too many days. Just if my kids lose one in the back of the fridge. So how long does Keto Chow last once it's mixed up?
In the fridge, it lasts up to 6 days.
So the short version is we usually tell people treat it like milk once it's mixed. Depending on the fat that you use and how fresh it is, you'll notice that most heavy cream will say on it, use within 7 days of opening, or use within 2 weeks of opening, something like that. Once it's mixed up, the good rule of thumb is 6 days, about that. Sometimes it'll last longer. Sometimes it'll last a bit less if your stuff isn't quite as fresh. But yeah, 6 days is a good way to do it. And that's why we'll often mix up a whole bunch of Keto Chow, like 18 or 24. And
we'll fill up the whole fridge door.
Yep. and then our children will steal them.
Yep. Which it's fine. That's fine.
Devin says, I'm broken, according to Aura. Pearhead Renee likes your hat.
Oh, thank you. My daughter's bought it for me one day.
Get on the budget says, look, squirrel, or actually my yard, bunny rabbits.
Rabbit.
And then Rhonda says, you guys have it good with both of you eating the same way. My husband derails me every time he comes home from working out of town, every 2 months or so.
Oh.
Rita says, evening.
Hi, Rita.
And then Pearhead Renee says, my patients have grown to see it in me. I'll pause and come up with some off-the-wall balance activity, but I try to use it to my advantage.
Oh, nice.
Mike says, keto kids get the $2.40 Pop-Tarts. The other kids get the one that costs 50 cents.
Oh, yeah, we don't buy those.
We don't buy it anymore.
The only non-keto thing we have in the house is low-carb tortillas that we purchase.
Yep. Everything else
is there.
I actually threw away a giant package of sugar because our youngest found it and has been eating it out of a bowl with a spoon.
Ooh.
Like, he'll put a quarter cup of sugar into a bowl and just eat it. I'm like, dude!
What? What's wrong with you? They don't realize that it's not good for them, even though we tell them that it is.
So Jennifer Ponce just ordered the gourmet and the basic sample pack.
Oh, nice.
Well, she had the gourmet one she's really looking forward to. The regular sample pack, she really only liked the strawberry and the salted caramel. You didn't like the chocolate, huh? That's one of my favorites.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't a chocolate girl.
Mike says, I mixed 10 last night, which for me is a lot at once. I usually 3 or 6 at a time. We've got a person on Twitch that says, please no play Duck Hunt. So on Twitch, it requires me to put in a game that we're playing. And so I was like, what should I put? Like, it used to be I could just put nothing, or I could put whatever I wanted. Now it requires something. So it says Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt.
Oh, I love
is the
those
game
games.
that we're playing. So
we're playing nothing, actually.
Yeah, right now we're not.
We're playing Keto Chow.
Pearhead Renee said, I dealt with it for years, her ADHD, and didn't even know medication could help. Just felt like my brain is just in overdrive.
Wow.
Jennifer Ponce says, I love how full it felt and it had more energy.
So, Parrothead Renee, have you read the Percy Jackson series?
Yeah.
Because that just means you're
you're a demigod. Yeah.
So,
there you go. Kimberly says, I'm the only one doing keto in our household, so Keto Chow has been a lifesaver for me. Thank you so much for helping me stay on track.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yvette likes adding new extracts and skinny flavors to help be creative with Keto Chow.
Oh, fun.
Renee says, I literally snorted sugar. I want sugar.
Sugar.
In water.
Water.
Someone out there with an Edgar suit.
Ew.
It's from Men in Black. Anyway, Ron, this is mine lasts much longer if I put it in the back of the refrigerator. Also, why do you guys still see retracted comments? It's a good question. It's because it comes into the software that we're using for the streaming, and then it doesn't go back to see the other stuff.
Oh, sorry if we said something you didn't want said.
Yeah. Mike says, I have an entire pantry of non-keto foods from before I started. Half the house is non-keto.
Yeah, that's hard.
We're friends with Seizure Salad, which goes by the moniker Keto Hiking on Twitter. And she recently cleaned out her pantry. She's like, how long has it been since I cleaned out my pantry? All this carby food. And like her and her husband, yeah, they are married now. Like she has to be absolutely stringent about doing keto because she does it for seizure control. And like she is as strict as you can imagine. She's like, how long has this stuff been in here?
Oh, yeah. One thing, too, I was actually going to talk about this on our notes, but it's helpful to me to not have those things in the house. So if people are eating non-keto foods in the house, what are your favorite non-keto things? Don't buy those anymore. Don't have them buy them. Like, I couldn't have Swedish fish. Nope. We couldn't have Swedish fish. If the kids bought Swedish fish, I would want them to keep it in their room and not show me. Because that would be a problem.
We did try the keto Swedish fish.
Don't buy those.
No. You have to move on.
Yeah.
Don't pine about the stuff you can't have.
Yeah.
Concentrate on the stuff that you can. Keto on a Budget loves the Percy Jackson series.
So great.
Yeah. Jennifer Ponce is so excited about the pumpkin spice. Do we sell it in bulk? We do. It is going to be a seasonal flavor. We do still have the big bags in stock.
We're close to running out.
We are close to running out, but we'll get it back in the fall.
So if you want one now, buy it real quick.
So let's see. Yvette says my son has a shirt that has Doug the dog with squirrel all over it.
Oh, that's cute.
So we got a bunch of stuff going on. We have a couple of giveaways, right?
Yes. So we started one last Friday that is nominate your favorite dad.
Yeah.
And so that one's still going. You can just make a comment in there. It's a $200 gift card for you and a $200 gift card for the dad you nominate.
That's some serious cash.
So that's good. So that's that one, and then we have one that we just started today.
Okay, so first off, where can they enter that?
Oh, on Facebook, where you just posted.
So
there you go.
Yeah, facebook.com/Keto Chow, right?
Yep. And it goes until Friday. And then the one that's started today is the lovely Carrie Brown, and it's her ice cream masterclass that we're giving away. We're actually giving away the masterclass, an ice cream maker, a raspberry cheesecake bag, and her ice cream scoop.
All of this
cookbook.
stuff right here. So
and
there's the
it's
masterclass.
so perfect for right now because it's hot and ice cream is delicious.
You're
and
hot.
If you have not, thank you. If you have not tasted Carrie Brown's ice cream, you need to because it is fantastic. It's so good.
So there's the link for that one.
So do sign up for that because that is awesome. And her masterclass is so cool. I was talking about it this morning. I've been in her ice cream masterclass before. She has a place where you can put questions in, whenever throughout the week. And then she'll go through those questions before her videos. And then she'll answer all the questions on the video. And so it's really nice. Because your question gets answered, and then she'll do like different things with the cookbook and just the tips that are neat to know because ice cream is a little bit hard to make with keto. And granted, we do Keto Chow ice cream all the time, but it's not ice cream. It's just Keto Chow.
I don't know. Rachel would say it's better than most ice creams. And it's literally you take Keto Chow and you dump it in an ice cream maker. The end.
Yeah. Yeah. It's lazy ice cream.
But the Carrie Brown ice cream is crazy good.
So good. So yeah, make sure and enter that giveaway.
So Para Renee says I can't even keep keto treats because it'll trigger me to want more sweets, even keto.
Yep.
Stephanie says they have a meat freezer and one of their daughters has a frozen meals freezer. Oh. Christy Davis from the Keto Village has a frozen meals delivery thing.
Oh yeah,
they have some really good stuff.
They do have some really good stuff.
Devin said I didn't like any of the keto jelly candies.
Yeah, it was just sugar in disguise. It's a problem.
Yvette says, the only chocolate that's allowed in the house while I'm on keto is Lily bars. No negotiations. The salted caramel ones are crazy.
Yeah, I just don't think we should buy those either.
It's true. Although the kids, even our non-keto kids, like to use those and make chocolate-covered strawberries.
Yeah, which is good for me.
Have they finally figured out how to melt it without causing it to seize yet?
Yeah, but they always say, Mom, can you help me?
Jennifer says, since I started Keto Chow, the sugar and carbs don't even bother me.
Oh,
they were
good.
cutting cake at work and I had no urge at all.
Yay!
Good job.
That's a victory.
Mike says, I literally have about 200 pounds of pasta. I was eating it right until last April when I started. We did coupon shopping for years. I've eaten pasta and it's 4 years old and tastes just fine. I plan to give a bunch away when the stupid COVID stuff is over. Weather's Windy says, it's also good to adopt the words, I choose not to eat this, not I can't
have it. I can have it. I'm choosing not to have it. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, so Jan says she's already signed up for Carrie's masterclass.
You love it. It's so fun.
Keto and Budget says I have her ice cream cookbook. Mm-hmm. That was one of the first cookbooks we ever got of hers.
Yeah. In fact, that was the first day we met her, was at KetoCon, and I won it because it was my birthday.
It was her birthday. It was so funny. They're like, is it anybody's? Well,
Jimmy Moore was up there
pulling raffle tickets.
And everybody had left.
Like, it was seriously like he pulled like
7 raffle tickets.
It might have been more than that. And finally, he's like, "Is it anybody's birthday?" And he was like, "It's mine. It's mine.
It's my birthday."
It was awesome.
So I was like, "Hey, come up here and Carrie Brown will sign it."
Then, like a year later, we finally
met her.
Really met her, and that's when Carrie discovered that we use methylated B vitamins in Keto Chow, and it's for people who have depression or who have what's called the MTHFR gene mutation. Methylated B vitamins is a big deal because in order for human beings to use B vitamins, you have to add a methyl molecule onto the B vitamin. If you have that gene mutation, you can't do that, or your ability to do it is reduced. Mm-hmm. And so non-methylated vitamins build up and you don't have the real stuff. So vitamin B12, folate, those need to be methylated. We use the one that's the version that's already methylated. And so for her, she freaked out because that's a big
awesome
deal. Her friend Danny Vega was actually up on stage when she found out, and she called him to tell him to get over here because these guys have methylated B vitamins in their stuff. And it was actually kind of funny. You could see him on the screen, like, look at his phone. And he was trying to decide whether he would answer it or not while he was up on stage. And then he came over and talked to us afterwards. But that was kind of the start of our relationship with
KetoCon, the second KetoCon.
Yeah, that was the second KetoCon. So
2018.
And yeah, the methylated B vitamins, it's a big deal for us. And for people who don't have that problem, they're just like, okay, what's the big deal? For people who have the MTHFR gene mutation, it is a huge deal. And we try to make sure that all of the versions, the variants of the vitamins that are in Keto Chow are not just the vitamins, the cheapest ones we can get. We actually go for the best quality, the ones that are usable by humans in the form that they're in. Humans in the form that they're in. So that's why we use vitamin D3. We use the MK7 version of vitamin D2. I mean, K2. Dang it. We use methylated B vitamins. We use the right version of vitamin B6. All these things. So it's interesting stuff, and it's not something that I even knew anything about until I started all
digging
this.
Into it,
yeah, but as an engineer, it's great.
It's geeky.
Let's see. Shauna says you need to add coconut oil when you're melting the Lily bars. That works. Mm-hmm. Mike says the keto gummies are good, but the total carbs are huge. Yeah, and they're playing the fiber game. I don't like the fiber game. I don't like companies that use fiber as a sweetener because invariably you end up digesting it. Some people are okay with it. I'm not. Jennifer says, when is your birthday? It's like 360 something days from now.
No.
Your birthday?
September 3rd.
September 3rd. There you go.
We were at KetoCon because they did it 2 times in September.
That's right.
But then the third time they did it in summertime.
Keto on a Budget says Carrie's story is amazing. It is amazing. If you get a chance, the first time I ever heard her full story was she was interviewed on the Two Keto Dudes podcast, and then she later went on to be a member of the Two Keto Dudes, now with less dude. But using a ketogenic diet to control her depression and bipolar, it's just amazing. A lot of people come to a ketogenic diet to lose weight, and some people do it for other reasons, but it's amazing. Well, Dr. Barry, even, he doesn't like to use, ketogenic diet so much as he likes to call it the proper human diet. And a lot of the questions and concerns that people have about a ketogenic diet kind of go away when you call it by its true name, which is the proper human diet. This is what we were designed to eat. So, anyway, let your brain chemistry works and everything. We've got a Facebook user who loves your lipstick color.
Thank you.
Nobody likes my lipstick color.
Yeah, your lipstick is dumb.
Devin says, not sure if I have the mutation, but I do suffer from manic depression. And you can actually, if you do the cheap version of 23andMe.
Yeah.
So you just get the finding out who you're related to. You can actually, there's a couple websites that you click on a link and it will take you to the place in 23andMe that tells you whether you have the MTHFR gene mutation or not. So you don't even have to pay for that. You just get the cheapest one and it'll tell you. Stephanie likes the Enlightened Keto bars. Yvette says, I love how careful you are with your products so that you can be... so that we can be our most successful. I have so much respect for you both.
Oh, thank you.
Now, one interesting thing, one of the reasons why we are so careful with what's in Keto Chow is because we actually use it. Like, we're not just making a product and then putting it out there to sell it. Miriam and I had it for breakfast and lunch today. We were going to have it for dinner. And then
I remembered it was Tuesday.
So we went to Buffalo Wild Wings.
But that reset me. I feel so much
actually, if you tell Buffalo Wild Wings when your birthday is, in the app, you get a voucher for a free 6-wing thing on your birthday. Anyway, but because we use it as a major part of our actual food, it kind of has to have good ingredients because we're not going to give ourselves junk ingredients. We're not going to give you junk ingredients either. So we are very careful, very methodical, and if we ever find a better version of the ingredients,
we'll change it.
We stick it right in there as soon as we can. And that's actually why the new, if you look on the the pistachio,
lemon meringue.
Yeah, the lemon meringue. I'm trying to remember. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the lemon meringue, we actually use real salt. It's good stuff. Let's see. Carrie Brown said, had you talked about doing the 23andMe. Yeah, and you just have to do a web search for 23andMe MTHFR. It only took me a couple seconds to find it.
Yeah, so we did the 23andMe, and we got them for, I think it was on sale for like $49. Yeah. And I just thought it was fun. I really wanted to have Kate do it because of her depression. I thought, well, maybe if we find out, then we could get methylated B vitamins for when she's not having Keto Chow, because I know she's not doing it for every single meal. Yeah. But then when we found it, she didn't have it. But it was nice because I actually went to my obstetrician right after I got it, and I told him, did you know that this is on there? And he said that he didn't know that, so it was kind of cool.
Marlene had a question. So if you're only doing 1 or 2 shakes a day, would you need to supplement the vitamins? A good way to know that for sure would be to record what you're eating aside from Keto Chow in something like Chronometer. Because every shake of Keto Chow will give you 1/3 of your daily nutrients. So if you were doing 2 a day, you would be getting 66+% of everything that you need. So as long as the stuff that the other food that you're eating works out to cover that extra 1/3, you should be just dandy. And once again, if you have any questions, pop it into Chronometer and you will know for sure.
Yep.
So Devin said the gummy people had to change their label because of them playing the fiber game. Yvette says keto helps with her anxiety.
Oh, good.
Rhonda wants to know, is Carrie on YouTube? She has a lot more stuff going up on YouTube. She has been
posting a lot on YouTube. Carrie Brown and Yogi Parker, they started a channel together.
He's the basement dweller. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's the cellar dweller.
Yep.
That's what she calls
Cellar,
him.
that's right.
So, but she's been putting a ton of stuff up there. You can find her. She has multiple Facebook pages. But yeah, she's got a lot of stuff on YouTube now. And they've been doing product reviews too. And the videos are pretty short. Some of them are longer. And she's been posting other ones that she's done. Like she did an interview with Ken Berry just this morning that was from a little while ago. But it was still relevant information. So it was nice.
Devin had a question. Who is it that has the e-cookbook on sale on Amazon?
Oh, Tara's Keto Kitchen has the cookbook. It is a cupcake cookbook, and she is a good cook.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's great. So I think it was like $5 last time we checked. You can post. Oh,
I don't have it on this one.
You don't have it. Okay.
No. Yvette says
on Amazon.
It shows how much we believe in our project. Major props. Had helped me to choose my shakes. And Jennifer says I tried keto nitrate before this and didn't like it.
Oh wow!
Oh, Micah already entered the
Good job,
the
Mike.
contest. So Adele had a question. So does Keto Chow already have fat in it, or do we mix it in?
We add fat to our Keto Chow.
Yeah, so that's one of the big things with Keto Chow is it doesn't have any fat in it. Well, hardly any. There's like half a gram, mostly just to keep the vitamins in there. But you are able to add the type of fat and the amount of fat. So you can add as little as you want, as much as you want. You can use butter, you can use heavy cream, you can use avocado oil. It's really up to you to customize that to fit whatever works best for you. Mm-hmm. We've also found that if you have a fat in a powder, which is what we would have to do with Keto Chow if the fat was included. Well, number one, it would cost more, it would take up much more space, but also you have to put it in something. You have to bind it to something. A lot of companies use maltodextrin, which is just flat out starch. And
they don't have to put it on the label. That's the thing. I on the second Keto Chow or KetoCon that we were talking about earlier, I decided to. Actually, it was the first. Was it? It was the first one. Mm-hmm. I walked around to every vendor that had MCT oil in their product, and I said, "What is your MCT bound to?" And they had no idea what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So the contract manufacturer doesn't have to tell you those things. Even so, the MCT oil, which is, any powdered fat, we've learned that, and then there's flavoring and coloring and sweetener, all can be bound to different things. So it's interesting because the flavoring can even have dextrose or a maltodextrin bound to it.
In fact, unless you stomp your feet and hold your breath and turn purple,
they do not want to give you the non-sweetened one.
Well, the one they want to give you the one that's bound to maltodextrin because it's cheaper.
Yep.
The flavorings. So we actually had to really work at that. And they're like, well, we can put it on acacia gum. We're like, great, because we're using that anyway.
Do it. Put it on acacia gum. We love acacia gum.
So. Keto on a Budget says she did the 23andMe and found a cousin that had been searching for her biological father her entire life. Figured out it was her uncle, and now she knows that she has a brother and a sister.
How cool.
And they're connecting up.
That's awesome.
Jennifer Ponce said she had a gastric sleeve 4 years ago. Do we think that she would need 3 a day? I've been doing just one and have felt the effects. So
you need to be careful.
Yeah, especially with that. You may just want to limit the amount of fat that you're doing. Just because, you still want the vitamins. And we actually have quite a few people who have had weight loss surgery that love Keto Chow because it's so nutrient dense. You're just really able to get the nutrients in there, depending on how much fat you add. So.
Yep, and you can make it into a pudding. There's other ways that you can make it so it's not quite as voluminous. Is that a word? But also drink it slower, and it just depends on how long it takes you to drink it too. You just need to be really careful so you don't get dumping syndrome.
And Yvette says that keto helps with her migraines.
Oh,
she gets them less often. They're much less severe. That's worth it right there.
Yeah, migraines are so horrible.
Stephanie says, I've mixed up my fats before too, and I've seen others do that. Yvette says, I buy Kerrygold butter at Costco and enough to keep on hand and feel less pressure that's already in the store. I have about 5 boxes in our keto fridge downstairs.
Oh, already in the house, not the store.
Well, and it's interesting. You can. So there's... The question comes up, what type of butter should you use with Keto Chow if you want to use butter? Do you use grass-fed? Do you use just regular butter? The metabolic difference, so what you'll see on a blood test or the health effects from just conventional, just go to Costco, buy butter, versus getting butter made with grass-fed cream. Our kids always joke, how do you feed grass to butter? Anyway, there isn't much of a difference that way. Where you would use grass-fed butter would be if you prefer the taste.
Yep.
So if you prefer the taste, that is a perfectly valid reason. Go for it. You want to use Kerrygold? Hey, more power to you. Love it. If you are looking just for the metabolic difference of using butter versus heavy cream or something else, you really don't need to use grass-fed butter or organic butter or any of that other stuff. Literally, using regular butter is like 99% of the way to what you need. You can go with the additional stuff if you want to, but you get so many benefits just by using butter over anything else. That's really the best thing that you could possibly do.
Also, look at the labels, because every once in a while you'll find a butter that says butter flavor instead of butter.
It's true.
So be careful. Always look at your labels at the ingredients. It should have cream and salt.
Yeah, and we've actually seen instances where, for instance, avocado oil, it'll be, the number one ingredient will be canola oil. It's like, what?
That's not avocado oil. So you have to, just look at your labels.
And then another really cool thing about butter is, well, it's cheaper than cream. And if it's the right stuff, cream and salt, it won't have any emulsifiers like carrageenan or anything else like that. So if you're worried about that sort of stuff, butter in and of itself, just the conventional stuff, cheapest stuff you can find, is so fantastic. It's a great fat.
Everything's better with butter.
Mike says our MCT oil binds to your wallet. Rhonda says, have you ever used Keto Chow to make it more like a smoothie, like with spinach, avocado, or berries? Yeah, you can. Now, the question is, are you adding those additional things for the flavor? In which case, fantastic. Are you adding them for the nutrients? In which case, you probably don't need them because all that stuff's already in Keto Chow. And we actually, Des, one of her favorite things to do would be to make the vanilla Keto Chow and put like 2 blueberries in the blender with it.
Yep, because then it's got that flavor and a little bit more sweetness.
And a little bit more color too.
Or bitter. You want that little tartness of the strawberry or something.
So Jennifer says, after she got the gastric sleeve, she had a leak 6 weeks later and had a feeding tube.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Interestingly enough, we have a number of people who have used Keto Chow with a feeding tube because you can actually taste, depending on your feeding tube and how it's set up, you can actually taste the stuff.
It does take a long time to go through, though.
Yeah, that's true. Right Family says, Stephanie, are you going to do a channel? You should. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Sonia says, what brand of MCT are you using? So, what was it? 3 years ago, Piping Rock had a sale on MCT oil. And
You bought cases of it.
I bought a giant case of it.
We actually used to recommend that you put MCT oil in Keto Chow.
And then I did an experiment where I was checking my blood tests and just changing the type of fat I was using. That's actually how I discovered that butter was so amazing. When I added MCT oil to avocado oil, it actually made my HDL go down, which is a bad thing. And it made my triglycerides go up, which is also a bad thing. So if you need therapeutic levels of ketones, like for a traumatic brain injury, for epilepsy, or for depression, or something else to do with your brain, MCT oil can have a really good effect because it does raise your ketones. If you're trying to lose weight, maybe not so much. It's just another form of fat. But raising your ketones can be a very good thing if you need the additional mental clarity and stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Keto on the Budget says, I had a gastric bypass. I don't put in as much fat, and a lot of times I break up one into 2 drinks and drink them a couple of hours apart. Now, she's on YouTube, and Jennifer's on Facebook, so she wouldn't have saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Seen that comment?
She ain't been seeing that.
She didn't see that comment.
Well, and speaking of Jennifer, she says she hasn't had migraines since started Keto Chow as well. Stephanie uses salted butter. Heather uses Sam's Club salted butter. There you go.
Also, Jennifer, Keto on a Budget, has a YouTube channel.
Yes,
so
she does.
She may talk about her experience with her gastric bypass on that channel. I have not seen a video of that, but that doesn't mean it might not be there.
So, Pearhead Renee has been buying a European Danish butter that's super yummy, grass-fed, but nowhere near the price of Kerrygold. And Yvette says she way prefers the taste of grass-fed. Use it on everything, but she's butter spoiled.
Hey, we're photography snobs.
It's true.
I just tell you.
Well, and it's funny. You know, people a lot of times will say that keto in general is expensive, and good quality food can be more expensive. But you tend to eat less of it. So, I mean, are you better off eating a ribeye or 3 pounds of cheap pasta? I think the ribeye would be better. Way
Also,
more
when
nutrient
you do
dense.
keto, it seems like you're not having to spend as much money because you're not hungry all the time.
Yeah.
So that's helpful too.
Mike says that he used expensive French butter to make 5 shakes this week and did not like it at all. The butter flavor took over the taste of every shake. And Patty says she's not a butter snob. She can't tell a difference between Costco butter and Kerrygold.
Oh, well then
I actually can't tell a difference really either. Ray Family says we stick to Kerrygold. The butter selection is small here. Stephanie says that is like our peanut butter. It's only peanuts and nothing else, not even salt.
Yep. Ooh, do you salt your peanut butter? So I'll do that. We get Adams and have to stir it, but I put
salt in it?
Yeah.
Dang, that actually sounds really good.
I don't salt it in the jar. I salt it on my celery or whatever. But yeah.
Jennifer Ponce, she has to say she's very skeptical of things and she's loving her product.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be careful though. You need to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Now, Deb says, I had a gastric bypass and do well with Keto Chow. I use 2 ounces of fat and take time drinking. I do better with butter. Heavy whipping cream makes my heart race.
There we go. So that's another one, Jennifer.
Know yourself. That is fantastic, Deb. Thanks for sharing that.
So take a little bit longer to drink it. Southern Christy also had a surgery. I don't remember what it was actually now that I'm saying it out loud. And she says she just takes a long time to drink it. She also makes it a little bit smaller. I don't think it's too much smaller. It might be like closer to 14 ounces.
Mike says that, he was stocking up on butter at Smith's when it was $2 a pound. And this week he noticed the cost of butter, of 4 pounds of butter, is dropped down to $7.50. It was about $10 before.
Oh, wow.
And Keto on a Budget says that's interesting that it doesn't make my heart race, but I only use heavy whipping cream when I'm making it into ice cream. But I can't even eat half of that.
Yeah, but half of it would still be like a good little ice cream, right?
Yeah. And Jennifer says, MCT oil bothers my stomach so bad.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. We did used to recommend MCT oil, but we don't anymore just because it's not really necessary. Rhonda says, I would add additional if I'm not that hungry but need additional nutrients during the day.
Hey, there you go.
All right. Let's see. Jennifer says, but you don't go out as much, so I save a lot. When you're on keto.
You save a lot of money, right?
Keto on a Budget says my grocery bill has gone down since keto. Mm-hmm. And Stephanie says, James and daughter are my lab rats.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I was thinking about last time we went to Sam's Club or Costco. We bought like $300 worth of meat. We used to buy that every time we went to Sam's Club or Costco. And now... Well, not the meat.
$300.
Like $300 worth of stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
And now we buy it when we buy meat. and then when we go to Sam's Club, we buy it random.
Yeah.
Mostly cheeses, it seems like Sam's Club.
At one point, we had an entire shelf of cheese.
Just cheese.
Kimberly
Egg
says...
shelf, cheese shelf, bacon shelf, butter shelf, Keto Chow shelf.
Kimberly says, keto helps me manage my endometriosis. Haven't had a flare-up in 3.5 years.
That is so painful.
Find your why. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Mike adds salt and a couple drops of sucralose to peanut butter.
Oh, that sounds good.
Keto on a Budget says that, she probably needs to do more grocery hauls on her videos. I haven't done many since the COVID thing.
Oh, yeah, because you can't go to the store. It's dangerous.
Rhonda says, speaking of rib, I had one the other day for the first time in an air fryer, which is basically a tiny convection oven.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
That's great. Right Family says, we bought the expensive carbs thinking they were better. Ashley wanted to know what platform is Keto on a Budget on?
On YouTube. And it took me a minute because I typed in Keto on a Budget and everybody else came up. So I had to remember what her face looked like. Oh, you want to just pull it up for us?
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, she's cute. Glasses. She does a lot of videos in her car. So look for that.
Yes.
Is that it?
No, that's not it.
I'd just go to YouTube and look for it. That's not it either.
That's not her. Hold on a second. It's YouTube is telling me that we're live right now.
Oh, wow.
Why don't you talk about the rewards program?
Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to say we have a rewards program, if you didn't know, which you probably already do know. But I just wanted to say, also, I want to say that twice. You get 10 points for every $1 spent. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Right there. You find it?
I found it. Okay. Keto.
So see if you can find her talking about her gastric bypass. That would be cool.
All right. Let's see. I might have just accidentally skipped some stuff. Keto on a Budget. Don't talk about the C thing. People will buy all the TP and meat. There you go.
Oh, whoops.
Joe says we're going back to Texas Roadhouse this week for prime rib.
Oh, I wish we could come with you.
Interestingly enough, I never liked prime rib because I always thought it was gross.
Yeah, because it was all fatty and red.
It was like about 2 years ago. I got me some prime rib religion.
Yeah, it's so good.
I am trying to make up for lost time now. If there is prime rib on the menu, that is the only thing I will order. Mm-hmm. And there's a steakhouse here in town. Well, not here in town. It's about an hour and a half away, or an hour away. They have a 24-ounce prime rib.
Oh, yeah.
And it's insane. It's like
this thick.
No, it's close to 2 inches thick.
That is 2 inches.
But it's a big thing anyway. But I can make that myself. But still, it's amazing.
It is kind of nice to be served.
Keto on Budget says she's been doing a lot of instant cart shopping, and Mike says, "Yeah, you are live."
Oh, perfect.
Devin says, "I was contemplating switching to Atkins or Paleo, but when I saw that I couldn't have dairy, that was a deal breaker."
Oh,
well,
yeah.
The interesting thing is, some people don't do very well with dairy. Some people do just fine.
Yep, and keto without dairy.
Yep. So if you're having problems with keto, maybe try not
keto
doing
with no dairy. Well, and that's what Maria Emmerich has talked about a lot. We actually ran into her in the hallway on the cruise, Holly and I, and we're like, "Hey, I'm stalled," and she said, "Cut out dairy for a month." Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Which is funny because she's from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. The cheese.
the cheeses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mike says, "I want to order strawberry, but I'm torn. I have too much Keto Chow." Well, just hold off, Mike.
Oh, Keto on a Budget said, "I think I talk about it in my All About Me." So yeah, look up that video. See what she talks about.
Deb says the Mag Drops, it's an electrolyte supplement that we have.
Oh, yes. It tastes horrible.
Well, it tastes like magnesium.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So she says it's helped with her migraines, maybe Keto Chow too. I didn't really think about it, but way fewer migraines since January 29th when I started back on keto. In fact, Keto Chow.
Oh, good.
So...
yeah, our magnesium works so good, and it just tastes bad. So what we like to do is I'll just put it in... a lot of it in a little bit of water and just shoot it, and then follow it up with more water, or take a drink that has a straw and then I put it down the straw and then you drink it up and then it'll be followed by your drink. So your water, diet soda, whatever you're drinking, and it's just gone real fast because it goes right to the bottom.
Now, one important thing about our electrolytes, We advertise on them that they do not have any flavors or colors or sweeteners. That's not any added flavors. So the electrolytes are, well, the fasting drops and the electrolyte drops are mostly sodium and potassium. The magnesium drops are mostly magnesium. The ones that are mostly sodium are going to taste salty. Don't get me wrong. And they're also very concentrated. If you take the concentrated salt water and you taste it straight, it's going to taste salty. So we do say it doesn't have any added flavors, but by itself, it's very salty. On the instructions, it tells you that if you want to reduce the amount of flavor, of salty flavor, to mix a capful with 1 liter or 32 ounces of water. At that dilution, you probably won't really taste it very much. If you put more or use less water, you probably will. So while it doesn't have any added flavors, it does have a salty flavor.
Yes, it does taste like something.
We actually got a negative review on Amazon. They're like, this is way salty. You said it didn't have any flavor. I'm like, okay.
Well, we misspoke. We meant we don't add flavor to it.
Yep. Heather says, by the way, hi Heather. She says, I'm still not there with the come around. It's amazing. Joe says we need to get that prime rib when we come out. Maybe we can take Heather and Phil.
Yeah, I'm willing to do that. Or we can just make one in the...
And Right Family says prime rib is great, more rare the better. And that's one of the things that maybe this is why I didn't like prime rib.
Because it's red. It looks like it's uncooked.
I didn't understand that even though it looks rare, like raw, it's been cooked for a long time at a low temperature. It's fully cooked. It just hasn't been it just hasn't been turned brown, sort of thing. So whenever I order, I just say, prime rib, rarest you can make it.
Yep.
And they're always like, okay.
And Yvette said, I'm still a filet girl, but cover it in butter. I also do that a lot because I like to get the little piece of meat. And the filet is often a little piece. Also, sometimes they'll wrap it in bacon. And then I just ask for butter. For real butter, because sometimes when you ask for butter, it is not butter.
That's true.
So you have to be careful. Two Crazy Ketos posted today a restaurant video.
Oh, yeah, about eating out on keto. That was a good video.
That was one thing I wanted to talk about today. We're kind of out of time, but be sure to ask your waiter and waitresses, is this margarine? Can I have butter, real butter, like butter from a cow?
Like just regular butter. Like I don't want it whipped. I don't want it, just butter.
Just butter. I don't want the flavored butter because that's mixed with vegetable oil also sometimes. So.
Yep. Keto on a Budget. Devin just subscribed to her channel.
Oh, yay.
Mike says, I live in Las Vegas. I used to eat prime rib all the time, but it's hard to say no to the baked potato. Well, once again, now this was something we learned at Texas Roadhouse. You ask for broccoli covered in cheese and bacon and sour cream and butter. It's a loaded baked potato.
With broccoli.
But
you have to ask for it that way, because if you say I want loaded broccoli, they just blink their eyes.
Or if you say I wanted a loaded baked potato that's broccoli, they still just, what? You have to say, I want broccoli with cheese and bacon and butter and sour cream.
Yeah, and then they'll say, oh, like a potato. Yes, except without the potato.
Yes.
And one thing also, Mike, that has been really helpful to us in our keto journey is I just cut ties with my relationships with all those restaurants I went to before I started
Red Robin
keto.
is no more.
It doesn't exist anymore in my life. And I just go to all new restaurants. So Buffalo Wild Wings we never went to before.
Never went
and now we go to it lots of times, especially on Tuesday. And
Texas
Roadhouse, a bunch of different steakhouses. We just never went there. I went to Zupa's a lot. I never go to Zupa's, so it's really helpful to be able to say, okay, well, I have a relationship with the sandwich of the past, and that is in the past. I'm not going over there anymore. So
interestingly enough,
it's been good for me.
Joe on that video said that he had a relationship with the fries at Five Guys. See, they didn't have them around here, so I never had a relationship with the fries. So for me, Five Guys is a good place to get a keto burger.
because we never got the fries there. So
Stephanie says, do you all like your steaks medium rare? Well done. I have been going rarer and rarer and rarer as time goes on.
Steve's like, could you walk it past the grill just on your way
show
to
it the
my
grill.
plate?
Joe says Rachel squirts the mag drops in her mouth.
Oh yeah, I do too at night.
Ashley wants to know, is there magnesium in the electrolyte drops? So the magnesium, the electrolyte drops is kind of it's a balanced mix of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Whereas the fasting drops is mostly sodium, and then the magnesium drops is mostly magnesium. So if you need the magnesium for cramps or trouble sleeping, headaches, that's the mag drops. If you're wanting to do like extended fasting, or you have a kidney problem that prevents you from doing a lot of potassium, that's the fasting drops. Otherwise, you probably just want the electrolyte drops.
Hey, is Stacy here? It's her birthday on Friday.
What the heck?
Yeah, we should probably sing to her. Stacy, you're here, right?
What song are we going to sing to her, though?
How about Never Ending Story?
Never Ending Soda. You still haven't seen... you haven't watched any of Stranger Things. There's a gratuitous...
Oh, that's right.
Never Ending Story thing.
I have not watched that show.
Hold on, let's get caught up on comments really quick, and then we can sing Happy Birthday.
Okay, but she has to say she's here. Stacey, you're here, right?
Mike says solid's delicious. It is. Devin says, I only thought about going to paleo so I could have fruit again, which is kind of a reason not to do it, you know?
But
well, you can have fruit on keto.
It's so much sugar that it may be bad. So it just depends on what you want to do. I did really well on Whole30 for a long time.
Yeah. There's Stacy. She says fruit and more veggies.
I moved from Whole30 over to keto. So,
Weathers Wendy says, my dad once cut into a steak that was too underdone and him to say, get a Band-Aids, we can save him. Underdone. Stephanie says she doesn't miss fruit at all. Been over a year since I've had any kind of berry. Is that like Dr. Berry? Mm-hmm. What are we talking about? Heather says that would be so much fun. Shauna says she got the mag drops and my finger and licked it. Ew! It's true. When you go to close it off, you're like, oh my gosh, that's better.
Don't lick it.
Until you get really low,
and then it tastes sweet
on magnesium, and you're like, uh-oh.
Wow. That's a problem.
Parrothead Renee says, did we all say Keto on a Budget has a channel? Yes, it's linked above.
Yes.
Stephanie says that she's now hungry for steak. There you go. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Mike says, it should be fully cooked, but believe me, I've had some rare prime rib that's pretty raw. Oh, there you go. Paris Renee says, yeah, I usually take a magnesium pill at night. How different is that from your all's magnesium drops?
Well, it depends on what the pill is.
Yeah, most pills, unless you have specifically bought it online and got the right stuff, is going to be magnesium oxide, which is essentially worthless. Your body can absorb like 2% of that. Magnesium malate or magnesium glycinate, where the magnesium is bound to an amino acid, those your body can absorb. Magnesium chloride, which is what our magnesium is really good, very bioavailable, doesn't give you the runs. Magnesium citrate, your body can absorb it, but a lot of it comes out the other end. Yeah. So,
and if you take too much magnesium that we have, your body will put it out the other end, which is, another plus if you need to be done being backed up. So... Yeah, you have to.
We are really
I have never taken enough to have the runs, though.
Rhonda says,
I've taken a lot.
Is there an amount of electrolytes that you should have daily? It varies from person to person. If in doubt, supplement with electrolytes, and if it tastes too salty to you, you probably have enough.
Mm-hmm. I actually just put it in everything I drink all day long, and then I don't have to put it in super strong, and... it seems to work out well for me.
Mike says sometimes he eats the little magnesium crystals that form around the bottle. I think you have a magnesium deficiency.
Yeah, you should have some more.
Sean is planning on Texas Roadhouse. Is torn between the ribeye and prime rib. Prime rib all the way. It's the same cut of meat.
I like
them both. It's just cooked differently.
I like everything covered in butter.
Destiny says, I love how when you ask for something a certain way and they look at you like you're speaking a different language. You want what? Jennifer says, I only had the blender bottle. Should I use a blender first if we had butter as a vat? It does mix better.
It mixes better.
So either if you use an immersion blender or you use a blender. And one interesting thing is if you try to mix up Keto Chow in a blender with heavy cream, if you run it too long, like you've got a Ninja or a Magic Bullet, you can actually whip it into globules of butter.
Yes, and we have done that before.
Yeah. In which case you would just need to heat it up and melt the butter.
Yep. And when you do it with butter, you want to use hot water. Well, not super hot water, but warm water so that you don't make the butter hard again when you're mixing it.
Well, and Sandra had a question about that. So when you make the shakes, do you have to keep them in the fridge so you drink them? Yeah, so you treat them like milk once they're mixed up. So, and even if you mix the melted butter with warm water correctly, you can then stick it in the fridge. It'll cool off and it'll be just fine. If you mix it up with whatchamacallit? If you mix it up with ice, you can make a really nice icy.
Yeah, and then you can put it in a thermos if you have ice. And you know what sometimes I'll do? I'll mix it just my regular way and throw it in the thermos and then just throw a few ice cubes in it if I can't get it, cold.
And one thing to say about the thermos is if you mix it up and put it into an insulated container and then try to put that in the fridge,
it won't get cold.
It will keep it lukewarm and allow bacteria to grow in the protein.
You can take the lid off and put it in the fridge.
It still won't cool off very fast.
But I'd still throw a couple ice cubes in there.
Keto on a Budget says, no more Red Robins.
Yep. No.
And she wanted to go to Buffalo Wild Wings on her anniversary. They were closed for lunch, so they went to Longhorn.
I actually really like Longhorn Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Somebody above that there was a comment you missed.
I can overlook most of the fruit 80% of the time, but recently we've had mangoes. Devin said that. Mike says that broccoli idea is great for those high-class places in Utah, but the Las Vegas specials usually don't allow any substitutions. You have to pay extra in Utah.
Yeah, a lot of times you do.
It's worth it. Heather said, poor Phil just realized he went to work without his wallet.
Oh, no, Phil.
Does he have the pay thing
Apple
on his
Pay?
phone?
Well, he needs to have his driver's license.
Yeah.
Just drive it over to him and bring him, a hug and a kiss.
Rhonda says Longhorn has loaded cauliflower. That's fabulous. Stacy says, I'm here. Okay, you ready? Happy, right? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Stacy. Happy birthday to you. All right. Jennifer says, I love that show. Keto Budget says that she loves that scene. There you go. Right Family says, we got plain iced coffee at Sonic today. They messed it up and added ice cream milk mix.
Aww.
Apparently they said they didn't understand what plain iced coffee was. Yeah.
Coffee, ice.
Yeah, there you go. Mike says magnesium is also used in fireworks, but we don't eat them. Well, you may not.
What? Explosive.
Devin says, I need my beef to be slightly mooing. Parrot-headed Renee says she takes chelated magnesium. So what's it chelated on?
Yes.
Is it bound to an amino acid?
That probably doesn't say that. It probably doesn't say that.
It should.
Maybe.
Devin says, I wasn't going to be abusive with it. Paleo, that is.
Hey, then you're probably good.
Right, family.
But see how you feel, Devin. Give yourself a week or something and see if you're feeling good, and then stick to it. And if you're not, then come back.
And one of the things we really like about the electrolytes, which is why we have them, is that they're already dissolved in water in their ionic form. So they absorb really quickly. If you have a headache, sometimes you can knock back a capful.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just do a shot and then drink water.
Works
take a water.
Fast. Yeah, take a water.
Take a water. Stephanie says, I've wondered if you should limit on the perfect keto collagen. I don't know. It's
collagen.
It's just protein.
When you're having it in your coffee, are you counting that as a meal? I think a lot of times people are not counting their coffee as a meal. Anytime you have
on how many
calories with your coffee, that is food. So I think you're okay. We've been having collagen every day.
So steak with butter is the best. There you go. Keto on a Budget uses a blender to make mine, but it hasn't made butter out of it yet. You have to really mix it up. But we did have a bunch of people back before we started talking about using butter who were like, why do I have clumps in my Keto Chow? It's like, well, how did you mix it? I mixed it in my Magic Bullet. How long did you mix it?
20 minutes.
2 minute. Well, there's your problem.
There you go.
Stacy says, I'm so happy. Thank you. And many more. Facebook user says, can you make it with less sodium? So we're talking about the Keto Chow. We actually have that much sodium in Keto Chow specifically so that you won't get keto flu. When I first started a keto diet, I didn't understand just how important sodium is. In fact, the number one problem that you're going to have with sodium on a ketogenic diet is not enough.
Getting enough.
In fact, we have a lot of people who will add more sodium to their Keto Chow. And if you're mixing up Keto Chow and it's too salty or it's too thick, it probably means you don't have enough water. So in the instructions, and this little guy, instructions, we say to add about 14 ounces of water. That doesn't mean put the stuff in and then add water to the 14-ounce line. That actually means to about the 20-ounce line. So, yeah. And, yeah, if you mix it up and it's too thick or it's too salty, add a bit more water. That'll probably fix it right away. So, Mike says you're not missing anything at Red Robin. $10 burgers not any better than the cheap ones, and they usually are loaded with sugar. It's true. Keto Budge says, thanks, Mom. Oh, because Stacy says, thanks, daughter. Stephanie says we had to buy a quiet blender for our Keto Chow while on vacation. Wasn't leaving home without our Keto Chow. And the Keto Budge says there's a quiet blender?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that like a quiet lawnmower?
I guess so. Stephanie says, sure is. We didn't want people in the next room to think we were rebuilding our room. There you go.
That's awesome.
Keto on the Budget says, yeah, that's usually my breakfast, coffee with collagen.
Perfect.
Shauna says we have a burger place called Squeeze In, makes a cheeseburger with crispy cheese skirt.
Ooh.
We'll even serve it without the bun. That tastes good.
That does sound good.
Heather says, hugs and loves, gotta take the dog for a walk before she scratches a hole in the door.
Okay.
Kind of late for that. Jennifer Ponce says, whoops.
Oopsie.
The Facebook user, we actually don't know your name because it just comes through as Facebook user, says, thanks for answering my question. Love eggnog and lemon meringue.
Yeah, so if you think it's too salty, put water in it.
Vet says, I'm jealous of coffee lovers. I've never liked coffee and it limits me. You know what? I don't really like coffee
either.
I think it smells like burnt popcorn.
I have done some herbal teas, and that's kind of nice. Also, when I want like a bridge between meals, I'll do the real salt, seasoned salt in water and warm it up, and it tastes kind of like a chicken broth. So that's nice too. You can do that.
Now, we had a question come up. Somebody wanted to know, why do we recommend letting Keto Chow sit for a couple minutes after mixing it up? Is that a nutrient thing? Is there like, what's the reason we recommend that? It's entirely for taste. The flavor gets better if you let it sit for a couple of minutes. The vitamins and minerals that we're using in Keto Chow need a little bit of time to dissolve if you're using cold water. Now, if you're using warm water, because say you're mixing it up with butter, that dissolving happens almost instantaneously. So especially if you're using butter, you're using a blender, mix it up, you can drink it right away while it's still hot if you want to. But we've found that if you mix up Keto Chow and stick it in the fridge for about 30 minutes, it tends to taste really good. If you let it sit overnight, the flavor just gets even better.
It's better.
So any chalkiness, any grit, that just goes away.
Taste
Yeah, I don't really like the taste of Flintstone vitamins, and it kind of has that taste for me for about 15 minutes after mixing it up. And so that's why we recommend letting it sit. And again, it's not for any metabolic or nutritious reason. It just tastes better. And so overnight is really good. I actually prefer the taste if it's been sitting in the fridge for about 3 or 4 days. It's really good. So, and some people are like, well, I just don't have time. Well, you can mix it up, stick it in the fridge, or stick it in like let's say you're on your way to work and you haven't made any Keto Chow and you're like, oh crap, what am I going to do? Maybe throw some ice cubes in there and then stick it into a cooler with some ice pack. On your way to work, it's going to do its little thing where it mellows out and gets better. So,
or put it in a vacuum flask.
But just make sure that you have ice in there with it, because it won't get cold in a vacuum flask.
And like we said earlier today, it'll last up to 6 days in the fridge, already mixed.
Yes. So that's one of the reasons why, 3 or 4 days, it just really gets tasting good. Let's see. Shauna says caffeine is my blood type. Jennifer Ponce says I always do it overnight. Keto Budget says I like to make it the night before, usually 3 to 4 bottles at once. Shauna says Keto Chow made it with my coffee in the AM, a very favorite thing to do. A lot of people actually use, like, they'll make too much coffee and they're like, what do I do with this? They'll put the coffee in the fridge and then use that as some or quite a bit of the water, when they go to mix up their Keto Chow. Some people really like that. The burnt popcorn, I just don't really like the smell of coffee. I didn't have any parents or grandparents that drank it, and so I don't associate that smell with fond memories. So it's just kind of like, I actually associate the smell with sitting in spilt coffee on the bus. And then having to go around all day with pants that smelled like a hazelnut coffee. And I was just like, that's disgusting. Spilled their coffee. Someone in like a carpeted bus seat.
Ew.
So I sat down and it was just like, I was like, oh gosh, dang it.
Man.
Anyway, so Rhonda says, I'm going to make one right now, but I need to warm my nut milk if I only use butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to be using butter, you have to use warm. If you're only using nut milk, you would probably need to warm it up. You could actually stick it in there with the butter and
put it in there when you're melting the butter in the microwave.
Yeah. That says night before, grab and go, so convenient.
Yeah.
Ashley says just finished making 2 lemon meringue with cream and 2 chocolate toffees with added cocoa and butter. So the last thing that you wanted to talk about was quit the stinking thinking.
Yes. So yesterday, our friend Nurse Cindy from Ask Nurse Cindy on her, she has a Facebook page. She does lives quite often. She was talking about quitting the stinking thinking.
So what does that mean?
So we are not very kind to ourselves.
Nope.
And her point was, we're working so hard to get good food to put in our body to feed it correctly. We need to feed our minds good thoughts. So we need to not look at the mirror and say, I'm so fat. You need to look in the mirror and say, my body's amazing. Look at all the cool things it can do. It can walk. It can talk. It can lift things. I can comb my hair. Like, there's so many great things you can do and think about instead of thinking stinking things about yourself. So quit the stinking thinking. Think kind to yourself and about yourself. And if you can't, just shut it off and distract yourself with something else. So here's my joy for the moment. It is close to Father's Day, right? And I walked around the circle. We have a long circle that we live on today. Yes. I walked around the circle today and I smelled the lindens.
Oh, yes.
They are in bloom right now. And I stopped my son who's walking with me with
lindens
no shoes on.
Lindens are a tree, by the way.
They're a tree. And I said, oh, smell it. It's so beautiful. And I put my nose up in the air. If you can't get your brain out of being unkind to yourself, if you can't not want to eat that licorice or Swedish fish or whatever that's in front of you, distract yourself with some joy. Yep. Figure out what brings you joy and go find it. If it has to be finding a YouTube video, that's fun. Walking outside just for a few minutes, get the mail, go to your car and, I don't know. Whatever you need to do to get yourself some joy, distract yourself and quit that stinking thinking. And if you haven't, followed Nurse Cindy, you should, because she's amazing. And she said a lot more cool things. But that's what I'm thinking about today, is just to give yourself some joy and think about something good. And give yourself some credit, because your body is amazing. And it does a lot of cool things, like methylating B vitamins.
It does.
You don't have to usually tell it to do that. Some people's don't. But your body a lot of times does really cool things to take care of you. And remember how awesome you are.
Patty said, talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you should. Even if if parts of your body are broken, other parts are working really good, and it's served you well. So
yeah, like growing hair and skin. My eyes work pretty darn good. Yes, I have glasses, but I still can see.
It's
my
true.
Ears can hear.
And you have a sense of taste, unlike our buddy Steve.
Yeah,
has he got his sense of taste back?
I don't know.
He must have. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings today, and he seemed to enjoy that. Yvette says, I just took a resilience course today for work. It was about gratitude and making positive thoughts your focus.
Good. That's so awesome.
Mike said, I used to watch a lot of keto videos, but lately I watch a lot of barbecue ones.
Hey, that sounds delicious. Oh, you know what else you can do? Sometimes I'll take a marker and write some notes on the mirror in the bathroom. Just write yourself a little note to remember to be positive, stay positive, and, talk nice to yourself. So that's kind of fun. Ruth will sometimes write things on the window too. And it's fun to go in and say, hey, I'm great. I'm great.
All right. Well, so it's like 11:30 in the East Coast right now. So, there you go. It's time to be done.
We just love visiting with you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. And we'll see you maybe tomorrow at 9:15.
Yeah, tomorrow morning we'll be doing our live stream again. We'll probably be doing it at work because neither of us had COVID-19.
That's right. We're going to work.
Yay! All right. Well, thank you for joining. Okay. Good night.
Bye.